just go ahead. All right? Okay. Some students have asked me about the case study in the textbook. Now, I'm not going to discuss that, right? But if you are looking for the organizational structure for the case study, the same organization structure is a case study in the book, right? This is what it is, right? You're practicing and you're using it. Some of you have asked me, sir, what is the answer for this one? The other answers are very textbook, but the organizational structure cannot be found in the textbook. So if you want to take it down, I'll say I provided it in the last lecture. So those of you who have asked for it, here it is. Okay. Now, you could have also drawn this. There are two possibilities. This was one exam paper. We allowed for two possibilities. So some students drew this, some students drew the other one, and both were correct. All right, because the way the question was worded. Because some of you are saying, my friend says like this, mine's like this, how which is right? Both of you were right. So the two ladies who came to see me, I hope that addresses your concern and answers. Right, I said I will address it in the last lecture. The Hollywood case, also from the textbook you asked me, I think you got it right. The one you showed me, and I said, yes, we got it, this is it. So, this is for the students who have come and asked me for the answers. The other questions are straight textbook, and I don't think I need to give it to you here. So, this were the three things that some of you asked me, and I said, okay, I will give it to you at the last lecture. All right? Okay, we come to the exam itself. This was shown at the beginning already of the course, right? And all questions must be answered based on case study. All right, you need to understand this very clearly. We don't want bullet points, we want short essays. Don't write short phrases. Don't draw meaningless sketches and tables. All right? The rest, I think, are very straightforward. If we ask to describe, describe. If you explain, explain. Illustrate, illustrate. If you have to sketch it out, that means you can do freehand and you'll accept it. Generally, in an exam, we're not too particular about it because of time limitation. Some of you do very excellent drawings in the exam, thank you very much. But if you're really pressed for time, a good sketch will suffice. Freehand, good sketch. You might have your ruler to help you a little bit. The only request I make is try to use a dark black pen. Some of you use pencils, which is a ching, and I find it very difficult to see. Right? Because your pen or pencil is too light. So make sure you have the right type of pencil, easy to see. Otherwise, it's straining to see. This is very difficult. And some of you write very tiny also. Right? Both Mr. Ching and I are in our 60s. So it's like we have to use magnifying glass. So don't make us do that. If we use magnifying, we miss something, then you lose out. But we try to read every word, okay? Words like discuss, explain, describe, you've got to know exactly. Examples, you must give example if you ask for it. Exams. Make sure you read the question carefully. Don't rush, please. Underline any word you think is important. Don't worry, you don't have to say it. Your friend or your girlfriend or your boyfriend taking next semester this exam, don't worry. Tell them, for BU8601, guaranteed all the papers will be posted on the university's exam papers. All right? We post it without fail. Right? Now, managing your time is very important. If you want it, approximately 1.2 minutes per mark. Ideally, I don't recommend 1.2, I recommend 1 minute per mark. Because you need to have a bit of extra time to check and so forth. Alright? I've given you the maximum time. Yesterday I had a tutorial with my students and I told them more than 10 minutes to answer a question, then you know you're asking for trouble. We don't read questions that are that difficult. A 20-minute question, a 20-mark question, you should be able to settle within 12 to 15 minutes. And I proved the point because we did the two. Yesterday, tutorial group 5 had their tutorial. And I asked how long did it take. Some of them took less than 5 minutes to do a question. And this was under exam condition, that means they assured me they didn't open a book from memory. So you can see it can be done. Alright, it's not that tough. Obviously, it was Melvin Sir, they must have studied. Yes, they would have studied, I would imagine. And also, it's a relaxed atmosphere because it's not an exam. Some of you also asked me about how much can I write. Okay? This is an experiment I've actually carried out at NTU about a few semesters ago. I got the students to volunteer in one of my lectures or tutorial groups, and I asked them to write repeatedly the same sentence. It's like writing lines. Based on that, I've calculated on an average 500 to 800 words per hour is what many of you can do. You've got pretty good writing speed. Some of them are very good writers. I'm assuming when I ask you to write lines, that means you are the clever ones, you know the subject so well, you don't need to think. The ideas come very rapidly. So the maximum you can write in an exam is about 1,000 to 1,400 words. You're probably going to ask me, how come when you double 800, it becomes 1,004? Very simple. With the passage of time, your fingers and hands become numb. And because they become numb, right, as a result of which your writing speed starts falling. So one of the things I always tell people before the exam, do some hand exercises, particularly with your fingers. Right?
Hand exercise.
Right? Because this is one of the challenges. So what you need to do is generally 130 to 200 words of intelligent, logical, fact-based material, good analysis and effective discussion. You've got it there. What is really a good answer? Historically, the best answers have sometimes been as short as half a page even, that means within one page, or it goes over to the second page, slightly over a page. It's usually good, solid, valuable material. Alright? Really depends. Sometimes half page and you've got all the answer there. Sometimes you take more words. Some of you have good command of the English language, some of you struggle, but still, there it is. It doesn't matter, but you get it there. You laugh at it. And I tell you where this comes from. Often these are found in the first bundle in an exam. The first bundle are the people who are fourth year, final year students. They have not come to my lectures, they have skipped it, and as a result they miss out. But they need to pass this because they need to graduate. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are in that group, please try to understand. There's no way we can do anything for you. You have to put in the effort. I appreciate you asking Mr. Ching and myself because we are the two markers. Right? But we cannot just pass you. You still have to do it because the papers get audited. Alright? So you need to recognize this. So if you pay attention to the next few slides, I'm sure you can do well. Time management, most important. I emphasize this time management. I go over it many times and I've done this. Alright? If you don't manage your time, you're going to be disadvantaged. This is the real stuff that you're waiting for. Now you know why I talk to those construction workers. Now you know why I talk to the truck drivers. So you can guess what kind of people work in the company. And the questions pertain to the management of this kind of company. Questions will be asked. These are the 6 topics, 5 topics, but it basically covers the 6 questions. All right? Let me go one by one. We will definitely ask commonly used terms which comes from throughout the course. Right? If you've attended all the lectures, I think you should know them. We're not looking for textbook answers in the sense that, oh, I must follow word for word. No. If you really get stuck and put it in your own words, if it makes sense, we will still let it go. All right? Doesn't have to be the textbook definition or the PowerPoint definition, as long as you can express it and help us to understand. Pokwe and I will definitely try to credit you some marks. Now, these are the kind of terms we're talking about. If you've looked at past papers, we've asked about organizational commitment, organizational citizenship behavior, efficiency, effectiveness, organizational culture, organizational performance, organizational plurality. So you can see all these are the terms we have used in the past. Some have not come out, some have come out. Right? Job alignment, job enrichment, something like that, empowerment, that's in the motivation lectures. All right, learning organization came out last exam, so I'm not going to ask you again, but it's useful to know. All right, adaptive strategy came out last semester. All right, so you have these kind of terms. You need to have a good understanding of planning. All right? What makes planning effective, efficient? What are the benefits? And how do we plan? What are the qualities of a good plan, for example? That's one of the things I'm talking about. Right? That's pretty straightforward. Obviously, the company which is doing transport, good planning is needed because we want to optimize the utilization of the vehicles. If they're caught in a traffic jam, they're losing money, efficiency, effectiveness. So these are the kind of thoughts you have to put in, right? You can understand that very straightforward. So if they ask you, what are the benefits? You say, yeah, these are some of the benefits. It's a lot of very simple thinking that you apply yourself. It's not very difficult. Right, the application part. Question on motivation, leadership themes are a little bit more mixed up. We'll spread it over. But definitely we need to know about transactional, transformational leadership. Definitely. You need to know about team effectiveness. Remember, it's teamwork for a lot of construction activities. You look at the fellow who operates the train, he must be a team player with the people who are on the ground, isn't it? So, somebody who operates the train, somebody who operates the cement mixer, these are all the kind of equipment they have. If you've been watching these people, you can see, and still construction activities going on. So you can look at it, you can have some thoughts. How does that take place? Right? You have to ask yourself, what motivates these people? What sort of leadership traits would you have if you want to develop effective teams for this kind of low-level people? Obviously, somebody must manage them too. All right? As usual, you will be asked to draw the organization chart. This time, we're a little bit different. We'll tell you what the organization chart is, and we'll even suggest what it should be. So really, we're telling you what sort of organization chart we're looking for. The critical thinking is how to draw it and make it effective. So the justification is how efficient, how effective, how you can get uniformity, consistency, how can it be better managed. Very straightforward question. Let me put it this way. If I can go on what my group 5 did yesterday for the group test, I'm confident they can do it. Any group can do it. And let me put it, group 5 is just an average group. We have clever people, we have average people, and they're very smart people. Alright, so we have a mix. Alright, so I assume every other group is like that. You cannot have a group of very clever people, I can tell you that. Right? Kwok-Wing and I know that. We've never had a class of what I call super intelligent. If we had that, we'd be like, no need to teach tutorial already. Alright? So this is quite straightforward. Organizational culture you've done already. You can realize these kind of people, which means there must be control. Alright? It must be effective, it must be efficient. So what are the qualities of an effective control system? Alright, many times I've talked about it. So you need to talk a little bit about that also. What makes a system effective? What sort of controls you will have? Right? Very straightforward in that sense. As I said, if you remember, I told you at the beginning of the lecture there was one slide I showed you and I said, please remember this, you'll find it useful. I mean, I can't do anything more than that and to tell you the exam question itself. I've gone over everything. There are no model answers, I'll put it this way. It's a lot of it is critical thinking, tutorial thinking, we normally prompt you to think. One of the things we want to make it clear, Kwok-Wing and I will not discuss individual papers on a one-to-one basis. It's not fair to the students. Alright, if we do that, students will complain that we're treating people unfairly. So, in that sense, if you want to bring, please bring to the class, in front of the class, I don't mind doing it, and so does Kwok-Wing. Alright, we'll do it in the open, but we won't do one-to-one. That's not fair, because your friends will say, hey, how come this person gets? And we want to be above board about this. This is very about ethics, and I hope you understand that. Please don't embarrass us. I will also add, Kwok-Wing and I are no longer able to discuss with you or elaborate on this slide. Whatever has been said is said in this class, made available to every student who has registered for this class and has come to this lecture. Because we made it very amply clear that this would be communicated the last lecture. We told you at the first lecture and I repeated it last week. So we're very open about it, right? So it's a level playing field, everybody is given the same advantage. Right, so we will not engage in any conversation about this. So please don't ask us, don't embarrass us. Read the case study carefully. It's only about slightly longer than a page, slightly over a page. We try to keep it simple. Remember, there are two parts to the question. Usually the theory part, most of you will get it right. The application must be contextualized to the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I wish you the best. Make sure you take care of your health, right? Make sure you eat your meals regularly, exercise, and please sleep. Don't oversleep and don't turn up for the exam. That's fatal for you. Right? All the best. Thank you very much. Failing is not an option. I expect everybody to pass. Right? Nobody can fail. If you come and tell me, sir, I'm going to fail the subject, I think I'm going to punch you in your face. Right? Because I think I've done enough to tell you, even the weakest student should be able to get to this, to get at least a passing mark. Thank you very much. All the best. I won't see you anymore. I will only see you at the tutorial. Thank you very much.